People are preparing for a production show. A dark-haired woman named Stella steps out of her trailer and begins to bark orders at everyone. She is the organizer of the house makeover show, Home Sweet Home. She informs the production crew that the homeowners are on their way. She walks into the flipped house and speaks about the changes that they have done for the family. She then calls for Pablo, who is her right-hand man. When he tries to ignore her, she shouts his name even louder. One of the co-workers, Gabe, wishes him good luck. Stella is very opinionated and dedicated to her job. She is known for pushing people around, so they pull their weight at work. She and Pablo have a funny but warm relationship. They bicker and disagree over everything, including the shape of the kitchen island. Pablo complains about the dinner table and how full it is. Stella says that the kitchen was the biggest complaint, and they have fixed it now. When he complains further, she calls him a Grinch, and he argues that the Grinch is a Christmas thing, not a Thanksgiving thing. He says they are there to make over the house, and not their lives. She argues that it's the same thing. The owners of the house, Reba and Andre, see their new home and are excited over the marvelous changes. While Stella and Pablo show them the kitchen, they reveal that they are expecting a child. Now that the shooting is over for the day, the production crew is packing up. Stella's fiancé, Jack, shows up, and they embrace. She promises that once the production company gets the Christmas episode running, they would finish for the season, and she would focus on the wedding. Pablo asks if they have set up a date, and she says that she is not sure, but Jack says it is happening in April. Zoe, the uptight production manager, steps into the conversation. Jack gives them early Christmas gifts, which are cans of paint from his company, Turner & Clee. He is excited about the company going live next quarter. He playfully offers the uptight and very dedicated Zoe a job in the company. She says she will get back to him. She informs Pablo and Stella that the December house location fell through because the homeowners backed down. They are both disappointed. They are only 5 weeks away from the biggest launch, which is on Christmas. Stella suggests another location for their launch, but Zoe opposes it, saying that it is boring and lacks conflict. They need a location with a killer story. Jack informs them that Stella just bought a house, and the house is from 1910, which is the Edwardian period. Stella tells them that it's her great-grandmother's, and plans to live there with Jack after the wedding. Zoe says that is perfect, but Stella tries to discourage them by saying that there is a family of possums living under the stairs. Jack tries to convince her that they will have the house ready in time for the wedding, and she says she is not in a hurry. She says that she spent every year at Christmas there, so it is already very special to her. Jack quickly suggests that they move up the wedding and have it there. Zoe tries to convince her. The ratings are down, and they need a location. While Stella is on her way home, Pablo confronts her about hiding the wedding date. He reminds her that he told her about his divorce before his ex-wife even knew about his decision. He felt like their friendship was dying. She apologizes for not telling him. He knows that she is nervous about using the house, but it's crucial for the production crew and their salary. He tells her that she doesn't have to decide today. It can wait till tomorrow. She drives to the Victorian family's house and goes through it happily. It is empty and in need of remodeling. Her mother shows up, and they embrace while reminiscing about the memories attached to the house. Though her mother thinks that everything about the idea is insane, she should go through with it. Stella tells her that Jack wants a big wedding, but she wants something intimate. The place is perfect, since it takes care of both needs. She decides that she wants to share the happiness of the house with the people that watch her show. When Pablo and the crew show up at the house, Pablo jokes about the smell of possums. Jack thinks the house is oppressive. Meanwhile, Pablo doesn't know how they would flip over the house. He calls it a dumpster fire. Stella immediately gets an idea about what to do to make the house better. Back at Stella's mom's house, they start pre-production meetings. There are pictures of workers on the fridge. They are temporary cast members who can work without cracking under pressure and are willing to do multiple takes. Zoe goes through the candidates. When she gets to a retired plumber named Vern, Stella and her mother speak well about him, which makes Zoe consider him for the job. Stella mentions that she doesn't want cameras around when she is doing her wedding preparation, and they shouldn't surprise her with anything impromptu. They begin production. On the first day of the shooting, Stella narrates the story of how the house came to be. Stella talks about how she spent every holiday in the house, a tradition that she plans to follow this Christmas. After her grandmother died, they sold the house to some people who took their creative liberties with it, but soon abandoned it. She says they have 4 weeks, 3 days, and a budget big enough to cover everything. While they take a look inside the house, she recalls happy memories. When Pablo gets on the floor to check out the tile, she jokingly says that he wants to propose. In response, he says he is never getting married again. They continue to joke and bicker as they check the house. She says that they should look out for possibilities in the house, and he replies that her possibilities give him a headache. They get the help of Freddie Green, a very important fabric expert. She is seen teaching her students that fabric has to be sustainable, affordable, and luxurious. She tells them to take a break when her phone starts to ring. Stella asks for her help in remodeling the house. Freddie Green comes to check it out. Stella recalls the first thing she learned from her, which is that no mistake is undoable. Pablo argues that the kitchen is. They need everything to be done before the family dinner on Christmas Eve, so they're on a tight schedule. While Freddie and Stella talk about the changes, they ignore Pablo's suggestions. When he complains about them ganging up on him, Stella says that she and Freddie discussed house changes over wine. The other night, Pablo asks about his invitation to the brainstorming session. Stella smiles and sarcastically apologizes for forgetting to send it. He says that Stella has more expectations than any homeowner on the show. It's going to be a tough job, but they are willing to do it. Production commences, and Pablo says that the upstairs is in good shape, but downstairs gives him nightmares. Stella says that she wants to focus their attention on the dining room, kitchen, and living room. She complains that the living room has zero character and ugly walls, and wants to deal with the fireplace and add vintage cover walls over the house. Before Stella and Jack leave, Zoe calls and says that the network is thrilled about this project. Jack says that the house needs to be perfect for both of them. Tomorrow is demo day, which includes breaking and ripping things. The employees eliminate things that are not needed in the house. It is Pablo's favorite time, because he gets to destroy stuff. Vern checks out the plumbing of the house with Stella, and he says that it is leaking. But he knows that everything will be okay. He asks her what her next plan is, and she says that she wants to extend her design line. He then asks her about her engineering degree, and she says she has been thinking about returning to school. He tells her that he wishes her father would walk her down the aisle. While they embrace, he says that she is the only person that he would come out of retirement for. Jack sees Pablo and jokingly asks if Vern found any dead bodies in the basement. Jack has different feelings about the house and would prefer living in his condo in Richmond. Pablo asks if he spoke to her about it, because he knows it means a lot to her. Jack reveals that he will either rent his apartment or get her to change her mind. Stella and her mother go shopping for wedding dresses and discuss the house changes. When she steps out in a white dress, her mother smiles and tells her that it is the right dress for her. Pablo and Gabe see that the production crew is here to shoot her bridal process under the instruction of Zoe. They try to stop it. When they both approach the receptionist, the woman mistakes Pablo for the groom. When he tries to say that he is not, she says that they look like they belong together. Gabe playfully agrees that they're a match made in heaven. When Pablo tries to get in, the receptionist stops, saying it is bad luck to see the bride in her wedding dress. Either way, Pablo finds himself in the dressing room and sees Stella. He is stunned by how beautiful she looks. Stuttering, he tells her that Zoe has a camera crew outside. She goes to change, and he stares at her while she leaves. Gabe asks him if he is okay. He can tell that Pablo has feelings for her. They are back on the job, where they discover a false wall in the dining room. She also finds a secret compartment in the fireplace, where there are keys in a small bag. She doesn't know what they are for. Stella and Pablo go to the Heirloom Antique Emporium to get furniture for the house. She introduces him to Andy the place, and is a friend she's had since the 6th grade. Jack doesn't seem interested in the dining set discussion, and tries to excuse himself to answer some work calls. She asks him if he doesn't want to make house decisions with her, and he replies that he trusts her to make good choices. It's not his department, anyway. Trying to convince him, she says that it is their home. He tells her to take some pictures, they'll talk later. Pablo knows she is upset when Jack leaves. The Christmas toy drive is here, and Stella is helping Andy with the children. Pablo is in a Santa outfit, and he complains about the belt being low. She tells him to stop being a Grinch. Awkwardly, she helps him with the belt. He is shocked by the number of children here to talk to Santa. Stella tells the children to hug Santa, because he secretly likes it. He asks her how she knows. She jokes that after all these years of marriage, she knows all there is to know about him. A little girl named Mary approaches him and asks for a dinosaur for Christmas. He tries to dismiss her quickly, but Stella sees a way to annoy him. Stella tells Mary to tell Pablo absolutely everything she wants. Mary begins to talk about how she wants her father to get a job. The father, Greg, tries to make things not awkward. Pablo walks up to him to have a conversation and asks Greg about his employment situation. He says that he is a house painter, but is currently in between jobs. Pablo asks Mary if she likes bedtime stories, and tells the story of a woman who owns a really old house. He is indirectly talking about Stella and her habit of revamping houses. He says that the lady has the power to turn any ugly house into a palace. But she needs help with painting the house, and suggests that her dad can help. Mary agrees to it, and is very thrilled. Impressed, Sarah stares at him lovingly. Zoe looks over the Christmas drive footage and commends it. Stella says that she loved the children. Zoe says that she and Pablo were flirting with each other. Stella argues that it was just another day in the office for both of them, and nothing changed. But Zoe could feel the emotional tension between them. During another production day, Jack shows up with the options for painting the house. Jack notices that he and Stella have different tastes and wants for the place. He reveals that he doesn't like cake, which she didn't know. Pablo complains to Gabe about Jack and his absence during the remodeling of the house. Pablo thinks he doesn't care about the house and is leaving all the work to Stella. Gabe tells him to not focus on Jack. Pablo doesn't understand their relationship, but promises he is not worked up, like Gabe thinks he is. In the night, Pablo looks over the floor plans and gets a call from Maggie, who is also into housing. She offers him a job to be an executive producer. He says he would talk to Stella, but Maggie says they are looking for one host, with one vision. He promises to stay in touch about it. While Stella moves things around, she notices the floor is lagging, and calls Pablo to check it out. Her mom comes over to inform her that she found a great wedding photographer. Stella shows her the keys she found in the fireplace. Her mom says that the keys are meant for Santa to get into the house. Pablo tries to get Stella's attention, but she is talking about the wedding menu over the phone. He tells her that there is an unsafe crack in the foundation. The show can go on, but there will not be much to shoot. Upset, she leaves. Pablo sees that she is decorating the Christmas tree. Jack is in Richmond. She didn't tell him about the news of the house. She believes the house just needs some Christmas spirit and a new foundation, and it will be good as new. Pablo uplifts her spirits by decorating the tree with her. She asks him if she is making a huge mistake. He promises her that it is nothing, and people often get cold feet at weddings. But she says that she is talking about the house. He reminds her that she loves the house and shouldn't give up on it. She is shocked that he remembers that she was the happiest when she lived there. They continue to decorate, and she says she is questioning everything. She doesn't know if the remodeling of the house is good or not. The next morning, they are at Stella's place, where Jack shows her his paint website. He shows her the video, and she looks over it. She says that Zoe is right about him being able to sell it. She asks why he didn't show her first before airing it. He says he didn't want to bother her. He decides to take it down and apologizes. She complains to her mother. Nothing in her life is working out, and she is supposed to take care of everything by herself. She wishes that she never agreed to the renovation, and her mother tries to make her feel better. Pablo is working in the house when she arrives. He tells her that he is prepping the cast and crew for a Christmas party. She said she was going to work on the tree, so she bought some ornaments for Zoe to look over. She thinks about whether she should text Zoe, and he opposes, saying that he is enjoying his peace. She tells him of the time when she was a child who loved decorating the tree. She believes every ornament has a story. He picks one up and asks her about its story. She says that her dad got it at the Christmas market in Salzburg. She asks about his family's tree decorating traditions. He says that they never had one because they didn't have much to spend. But his grandfather was all about secondhand and homemade gifts. She commends the idea. She asks him if he is hungry, and he tells her that he is starving. They go downstairs to eat the leftovers brought by the caterer, and he proposes drinking a glass of wine. She asks what the occasion is, and he humorously replies, "No camera, no crew, and no Zoe." They fist bump to it. While they eat on the floor, he promises her that they will get the house project running. She asks him for his backup plan if they don't, and he says he would reinvent his life. He says that he would love to eat in the dining area once they are done remodeling, and she says that he can always come and visit her. They begin to drink, and she asks him some personal questions. He knows she is trying to get him to open up, since he is an expert on her and her strategies. They play a game about knowing each other. She asks what she always has in her fridge, and he answers correctly with champagne. She asks for her favorite color, and he replies blue-green. Finally, she asks what her favorite thing to do on her day off is. He says she never takes days off. All of his answers are right. When she commends him for knowing her very well, he says things never get past him. While laughing, he mistakenly tips the wine glass down. In the process of trying to clean it up, he kisses her. When they pull away from the kiss, he apologizes. She leaves abruptly. The next morning, Freddie sees her and asks her what is going on. She tries to lie and says she is busy with Jack and the wedding. She eventually tells him that she kissed Pablo. Freddie reassures her that it was just a kiss, but Stella doesn't know what to do. Pablo informs Gabe about Maggie's plan to recruit him for a show. Gabe tells him that the offer is 1 in a million, and he should take it. Pablo then reveals that he kissed Stella. He worries about how they will work together after the kiss and her marriage. It is the company Christmas party, and they give the design team the day off. Stella and Pablo avoid eye contact, while Vern gives gifts to everyone. The structure engineers arrive to check out the faulty house foundation. They tell the team that there is a foundation problem. Stella thinks the worker is overreacting when he suggests lifting the house to fix the problem. She gets upset when he says that it would take 6 to 9 months. He suggests a second opinion, tearing the house down. But it's not just a project, it's her house, and she refuses. Later, she complains to her mother about the engineering team and how demeaning they were. Her mother apologizes for the problems that she is experiencing in the house. Stella says that she feels powerless. She should have stayed in school instead of working. Her mother gifts her a drawing book that her great-grandmother drew in and tells her to draw in it to get ideas. Stella tells the team of the suggestion of having a sister foundation for the house. She and Pablo talk. She asks him if they can finish the project on time. He assures her that it's possible and apologizes for the last time they were together. She says that she has been thinking about everything, including the wedding. He says that he wishes her the best, no matter what she does. Zoe tells them of a minor update. They are going to do a live broadcast on Christmas Eve. Everyone works hard in preparation for D-Day and the wedding. Jack is running late for the rehearsal. Zoe tells Pablo to pretend like he is the groom. They both awkwardly practice. Zoe tells her to improvise the vows, and she does. They do the ring exchange. Jack intrudes on them and takes Pablo's place. Jack and Pablo talk. Jack notices that Pablo has been spending a lot of time with Stella, and Pablo asks if he has told her that he doesn't want to live in the house. Jack tells her that it's true, but he knows he will get used to the place, eventually. Stella is working on the Christmas tree when Pablo comes in. She tells him that she is going back to school. He hugs her and says that he is proud of her. He says the show would take care of itself, and informs her about the new job. She is shocked that he would leave the show for another. He advises her that it is high time they start thinking about the future. He also complains that things will never be the same if she marries Jack. He is trying to keep his feelings in check, for the sake of respect. Stella is afraid to say that she feels the same way he does. She tells him to take the opportunity to host another show, and that they should go their separate ways. He asks her if that's how she really feels, and she nods tearfully. The wedding day is here. Stella sees Freddie and says she wants to do one more walkthrough before wearing her dress. She cries over the cake, and Freddie hugs her. She feels awful, but she knows she must keep moving forward. Freddie advises her to listen to her heart. In her trailer, Stella sits in her wedding dress, and her mom shows up. She tells her mother that she doesn't know what to do. She also tells her about the fight with Pablo, and how she can't stop thinking about him. Her mother tells her that she was nervous when she was getting married, but inside, she was calm. Convinced by her mother's words, Stella decides to cancel the wedding and follow her heart instead. She steps out of her trailer and sees Jack. She tells him to turn his microphone off. She wants to talk privately without the presence of the camera crew. Zoe thinks she is trying to run away. Everyone watches as they talk. She tells Jack to say something. He says that he knew this would happen the day she bought the house. He will always love her, but the past few weeks have really taken a toll on their relationship. She knows he is right and gives him back his ring. Zoe thinks everything is fine as she watches them hug. Stella breaks the news that the wedding is off. Zoe suggests that she marry Pablo instead. After all, the people have been waiting for a wedding all day. Stella suggests that the followers celebrate the Christmas event with them instead. While they are alone, Pablo says he needs to apologize. Even if they don't get picked for the show, they will figure things out. There are tons of people outside the house, and they go live as they show the house. The audience claps wildly. Pablo and Stella go into the house with the camera crew. She finds the Christmas keys which Pablo polished for her. He mentions he has one more surprise for her, which is the dining area. She looks around the room in shock and awe as he tells her about everything he did. They tell each other Merry Christmas, and she kisses him. Everyone cheers. They promise that if they get picked up for next season, they will have a lot of surprises. After the show wraps up, they kiss again. Their show gets renewed for another season. They are both in front of the camera, doing an interview. Pablo is telling them about the gift he got Stella, a snow globe with a sledgehammer in it. In case of emergencies, he jokes. They playfully joke about the gift and share their final sweet kiss. It turns out that fixing the house fixed Stella's love life too.